Hey there, it's John and welcome to my travel channel here. Today we are in the Adirondacks for day 2 of our adventures here, and we're going to do a rail bike adventure as well as a steamboat cruise and then possibly maybe a hike a little later on. But let's take a look at the contraption that we're going to be using here. The bike, well, the contraption. But before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a 2-person bike, but as you can see, it's attached to the railroad, and you basically just pedal it as you go. We checked into Revolution Rail Company, and the trek that we're going to take is northbound along the Hudson River. And before we hop on the bike, we're going to be doing a safety protocol class, which is typical for this type of adventure. So we're gonna kind of just enjoy our coffee here, but we'll check back a little bit later after we have the safety meeting. To my right, we have the Hudson River, the great Hudson River. And as we pedal along the tracks, we're going to continue until we get to a great trestle bridge. So, join me as we go through the enchanted forest of the Adirondacks. All right, we just started our journey here. And unlike the Lake Placid trip, everything seems to be going smoothly here. And this is really nice. I like this. This is like a little bit different than biking or just hiking in the woods. Something very unique. They have a couple different trails, but I think like I mentioned earlier, we're doing the northbound trail, which has like a cool bridge that we'll see. But I like this. You have a nice breeze coming in.
This is the Hudson River Gorge up here to your left. One of the most remote places in New York State.
I'm going to go a little bit closer so they can hear.
It's only accessible by the river and by 2 footpaths.
We just crossed over the halfway point with the big bridge, and as they turn around the carts, we're going to enjoy a little bit of lunch and scenic river here. So let's dig in.
When you really want to go back to the early days, the tracks go to a place called Tahawus. Tahawus is the Indian name for Mount Marcy. And how they found the iron ore was a Native American Indian, probably Mohawk, I'm not sure on that, showed the white man where the iron was. And he was paid a plug of tobacco and $1.50, which was probably huge money in 1820s. But he literally went up there and said, "This is where the iron ore is. The ground is rusting up there. There's so much iron in the ground." So, but titanium was just, you know, there was no way they were going to figure that out back then.
We are about to venture forward onto the second part of the trip here. But they were telling us how this particular line is about 29 miles, 20 to 30 miles long up to Mount Marcy. And as we cross over the bridge, we'll take a little photo op as well. But why don't we? We're the end car. We're also going to be taking our guides with us.
Towing them.
Yes, we're towing them. Our adventure on the rail bike was pretty awesome. We'll put the link in the description below, but the guides were super informative. They talked about the history of the railroad as well as like some interesting facts and history about the region. So that was really cool. And get a little bit of exercise, enjoy a little bit of the outdoors. I would recommend trying to book it in advance because it does sell out quickly. Bus driver recommended that the fall is one of the best seasons to come out here, but we're gonna drive on to our cruise. We'll drive to Lake George to catch our cruise on the lake, so we'll see you there. We boarded our steamboat, the Mohican, here, and this particular cruise takes you to the different islands in the Narrows in Lake George. There's like over 180 different islands here, but we're going to go deep into the lake and see kind of the scenic panoramic views around the lake as well. And this was recommended to us as a first-time visitor. That way you get to see the lake and the different islands as well. And the other thing is, with this particular steamboat, it's one of the oldest steamboats here, back in the 1900s. So it'll be cool that we get to sail through a piece of history. So let's strap in and cast off. We just reached the halfway point in our trip here, and we decided to get a little bit of a light beverage, but we're enjoying the scenic views. If you decide to take or be upstairs, it can get a little buggy and also a little high, or hot, not high, but yours truly got a little sunburn. But we're going to enjoy this as we reach the final leg of the journey. So we'll take a look and check in later. Cheers. The cruise was fantastic. Even though we got here early, like 30 minutes early, it was still tough to get a spot on the top deck. It was very popular there. So if you do book a cruise, try to get here as early as you can. That way you can get either the top deck, or maybe if you want to stay a little bit cooler inside the second or first deck there. But very relaxing no matter which deck you have, and they have refreshments and also a little bit of food that's extra. But we give it 2 thumbs up here. But we are going to continue the path and also stay a little cool, since yours truly got a little sunburn from being on the top deck. So let's continue on the path here. As you can see from the beach, which is a legit beach just for the record, although some people may argue against it, this town is very dog friendly, and dogs can even be on the beach, or just walk your dog on the sidewalk here or the public park. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring Poppy on this adventure. Maybe next time. I'm getting there. She is with us. She's back at the cabin. And don't worry, we have plenty of little doggy treats to spoil her, so we didn't completely forget her. But as you can see, a lot of people are having fun. I am Team Beach all the way. People, comment below. Is Lake George, is it a beach or is it not a beach? That's what I want to know. I vote it's a beach. Now, for those of you that doubt any beach exists in Lake George, I would like to present, voila, a beach. Good morning. We had a very busy day, and the sun kind of tired us out a little bit. So we kind of took a relaxing evening, cooked some burgers, some corn, and enjoyed a beer by the campfire. Our Airbnb was really cool. No Wi-Fi, but it felt great to just kind of disconnect a little bit from everyone and just enjoy nature. So we're gonna hit the road, and we have one last stop on our way here. So let's hit the road.
Wow, it's like chaos around
Just look at all of them. Flew over my head. We are on our last stop here in the Adirondacks, and we are on Prospect Mountain, and right behind me is like the Narrows and Lake George, which is like the smallest part of, or the narrowest part of the lake here. So we're gonna continue upward and kind of check out the different overlooks of the mountain. When you enter Prospect Park, there's a $10 fee charge. Prospect Mountain. When you enter Prospect Mountain, there's a $10 fee, and you have a couple lookouts, like 3 lookouts, before you get to the parking lot, and then there's a hike uphill, which is why I sound a little out of breath right now. And it takes you all the way to the summit, and then we get to see some amazing views of Lake George and the Adirondack Mountains here. So far I think it's worth the $10. The views that we saw so far are very scenic. But let's keep on the path. See you at the top. So not on the top of the summit, but right near the summit, they have this structure that was old railway cable car, which was used to be used back in the 1800s, early 1900s for tourism. And this used to be a hot spot. I mean, when we were on our cruise, yes, with the boat, our boat cruise, they showed us Millionaire's Row, which you had all these different tycoons that have mansions right along the lake. So this was like a very popular destination. I would even say it's still a very popular destination, but back in the day it was a rich person's playground, so to speak. But let's go explore a little bit more of the mountain here. We made it to the top of Prospect Mountain, and behind me you can see Lake George, and even a little bit further you can see Vermont in the distance there. And our experience here in the Lake George area was great. However, a lot of crowds in Lake George, and even when we talked to some of the shopkeepers and locals, I mean, they said they had record high tourists, so just be prepared to deal with a large amount of tourism if you're coming up to this area. But the hike itself, brief hike, a little bit of an incline. There is a shuttle in case you don't feel like walking, or we did see some people cycle up here. But we're gonna go on to our next adventure, but don't forget to like and subscribe. And next time we're gonna be on the West Coast. But until next time, keep on exploring.